YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we're carrying on with the build for the Xray XT8E 22, and we've got to the point where we need to fit the motor, or at least offer the motor up and see if it's going to fit in this gap. So we're running the Hobby Wing 4274, and it's a 2250 kV. Quite a popular motor for the 1/8 truggies. So let's get this out. Let's have a look how it's going to fit or not fit. It's going to be pretty close, but it looks like it will go. So let's take that out and see which line up. And due to the motor fan that I'm going to want to use on this one, that's going to dictate where I want the motor cables coming off. So that would bring us wires round this way, but then I'm going to want to run this. So we've got enough clearance there. Let's see how long these power cables are for the motor. It looks like it should reach. So I'm more than happy with it in that position. And I've got to choose a pinion for this as well. I'll just get this nipped up somewhere near. Let's see how much room we've got pinion wise. Yeah, so even if we wanted to run a ridiculously small pinion, we've still got loads of space, so that's not going to be an issue at all. Right, let's see what else this instruction manual's got for us. So we're going to be moving on to the Saddlepack battery trays, and let's have a look. So it says bag 10.1 and 10.2. So I believe, let's just check it. So it's 10.2 that we're going for. So that's 2 more spare screws we've got, because we're not using the smaller ones for the motor mount. So the one we're using for Saddlepack is 10.2, and I think it's 10.3 would be the other one. So where's 10.1? We've also got bag 10.1, which I think is the Servo links. So the Servo saver and wheel nuts and the like. See if we can keep all these together. Right. So first off, it's telling us to make the steering links. So we're going to need a couple of these, and then somewhere we should have a small turnbuckle. See where these are hiding. Should have two of these tiny little olives. So we get these popped in. So let's have a look. So we want the 25 tooth one, which is F, H is 24 and K is 23, so we'll not be needing them. And then we want one domed head screw. Looks like that's the favourite at the minute. I think they're all the same length, then slightly shorter. So it said 12 millimeters. Let's just check it. Yeah, that one's 12. So we want to get that mounted in there. And it shows it screwed in from the back. And no washers or anything. You don't need thread lock because it's going into plastic. You can swap these out for metal ones. Personally, I'd go for one of the cheap aluminium ones, but we've got a few. But I'll build it to manual first. Right. So next we need to move on to the servo, which in this one we're using one of the Demond servos, and this is an 8.4 volt servo because we got an 8.4 volt ESC. You do get servo arms and everything with these, so you can use them if you like. Let's see how we get on with this servo. I may shorten the cable, but depends if I'm going to keep this servo in this RC or not. So it says we want it in that orientation. Right, so we're going to want the 12mm domed heads with the washers, two of them little retainers. You're going to want the arm with your servo saver and the screw that comes with your servo saver. So, by the looks of it, we want this, and that's going to be in that position. And then one of them is going to go underneath that, and then two screws. Started. And then we'll flip it round and try and get this rear one on. this nipped up. Right, let's see how this lines up. So that should be a servo mounted, and then the arm one's coming off at a 90°, and I'll line all this up when I get all the radio gear set up. And first time you turn your radio gear on, if you've not already centered your servo, it's worth undoing your servo arm so you don't get causing any damage. Right. Now, so it says we want 8mm screws, that's them. Now these, in the manual, it shows them fixed that way with the small slots to the bottom, but that's not the way around they're machined in this one. In this one, you've got the bigger holes in the bottom that are for the coarser screws that go into the chassis. So what I'm going to do, I believe all these slots are for is so you can grab hold of them if they start to spin. So I'm going to put them with the slots facing outwards, so if we need to get in there with a spanner or pliers or anything, you can. And I'll do the same on these two at the front. There's a lot more room around these, so it doesn't look like it'd be an issue on these. You should be able to grab them no matter where they end up. And it doesn't say thread lock these, so there's no mention of thread lock at all. So that's how they're going to sit. Looks like you've got two to the inside and one to the outer side. So then we need to get that mounted. So I believe that one is 3 of these big screws. But again, it don't mention any thread lock. So let's get it flipped over and then see if we can position that. Saying 12mm. Yeah, they're a lot shorter, so it's not them. And again on these it doesn't say thread lock. Probably because they think you're going to take the servo out now and again. last but not least, we need to fasten the steering on. So, what are we using on this one? No, that's too long. So it's one of those, and one of them, I believe. That's got it. Looks like that's the easiest way of getting that in. If you screw a bolt into it from the back and then just lower it through. Use it to push it into place. And again, because this is a locking nut, it doesn't need any thread lock or anything on it. Does actually look like we'll have to back the end points off a little bit on that, because I don't want that slapping all the way back, but quite a good fit so far. Right, let's see what else we've got. So moving on now to the radio tray, and then on this one it says we're going to need two 10mm. Is that them? No, they look too long. Might be them. They look about right, but too big a thread. So I'm guessing it's going to be these little ones. Yeah. Now, if this is going to sit into this corner, I'm going to take the servo wire underneath it, because I don't want that flapping around and getting caught on anything, and it might look a little bit tidier. And if I'm taking servo out, I'm probably taking radio tray out anyway. If you do fasten your servo wire under there, just make sure you're not getting it caught. You don't want to be splitting your servo wires. Should be as radio tray in. The servo wire can move about, but it's not going to fly into the diff or the steering. Right, next it's turn us to position both our ESC and our receiver. And it says stick them down with double-sided tape. So for the for the ESC, we're using the XR8 Pro G2. And this comes with your battery wires and your motor wires as well. So have a look where the best place for this is going to be. So on this one, all your motor wires and your power wires are all down one side. So I think on this one I'm probably going to position that just there. Then for the receiver, we're going with a FlySky FGR4S, I believe this one is. Just because it's nice and small, keep everything tidy. So I think we'll have the receiver sat make sure the steering's not going to come into play with it. Right, so let's get these taped down. Right, so let's get the receiver in position. It's pretty decent tape this, it does seem to hold them down pretty good. So where's his motor wires going to run from this? Yeah, they're going to be straight away at Servo. So let's see how they'd sit if we reverse it. Do they stand more chance of running nice? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to have that reversed. I think that's going to be a better option for it. Let's get that stuck down. So we've got to tidy that wire up. I believe signal is to the front on these. Until I work out where everything's going on it, that can just hold them out way. Not the tidiest of wiring, but depends if we're going to move anything. Then we just need to find somewhere to mount the switch, but I'll have to see where the batteries are going first. Right, let's get electric driver on, go for these. So we got a Team Orion shorty pack. It looks like that'd go in quite easy, and you can use them to stop it rattling around too much. And then you move that pin to the centre of there. And then we got the longest sized Z packs. Right, so once you get these in, we've got to drop some of these locking nuts into the battery trays. we're fastening them in place with some more of these big screws. So the big tapered ones, same as the majority of the bottom of the RC. Get one in place. One battery tray. Let's get the other one in. Yeah, the whole thing with these, the fact that you've got to remove the battery tray to then put screws in from the bottom to change to a shorty pack, when Velcro and a bit of foam could do the job way better. Yeah, definitely. Xray, not sure what you were thinking with this battery retainer. It's just seems like a huge step backwards. I think I'll definitely be swapping that out for some kind of Velcro. Right. So, where do we like the battery, the power switch going? Probably just there. Should be nice and easy to find in middle of the, flick the middle of body out way. So let's get that stuck down. Keep that that way. Let's have a look at these sensor wires. So that's the short. No, that's definitely not going to reach. We can get that into position. Just need to find somewhere nice and tidy to mount that. Probably follow the power wires over. That's basically how it's all going to sit. And then we're going to have batteries in one way or another. And I think it'll be a good point to leave it there, because some of these videos are getting a little bit long there. So, thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys again in the next one.